ready to talk about Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows again?
This is the game that you'll be playing when it drops, and not.
I am actually going to be playing it.
Okay, I'll be playing the other game,
What other game?
Xenoblade.
I'm going to play that too, but after, because we got to give it the fair shake, buddy.
I know.
We got to play the game because
the fair shake guy.
Listen, we've been shitting on Assassin's Creed Shadows a lot, mostly from Ubisoft's mistake in history. Their people they grabbed to do the history, and their financial issues. We've been shitting on them a lot, but what do we do here? We play the game, we stream
give it a fair
it,
shake.
we give it a.
You gave Dragon Age a fair shake.
I did. I gave Avowed a fair shake. Yeah, dude. Yeah, and they need Breath of Fire 1 through 4. Yeah, I mean they got to. I mean it's to the point that they have to get those games back out, re-release them or whatever.
They probably forgot they even had them in their library.
But anyway, so Assassin's Creed Shadows, do or die, Grant. Do or die. It is how current Ubisoft is right now. How they are right now is up to the success of this game.
Yep, it's true. How
their structure is and everything like that. Before, if this does not meet, I would actually say go beyond their sales expectations for this game. They're in trouble. They're in trouble, either by being bought out or some other things. Of course, eliminating a lot of studios or whatever. But if they get bought out, that's going to probably happen regardless, depending on who they get bought out by. Who actually buys them out. All right, so let me pull up a few things on our X because we want to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, because I got things to say on each one.
All right, Grant, let me know when you see that. All right, we're going to there's a lot of Ubisoft news going on since it's been happening.
Yep.
All right, one thing we want to touch base with first is the reviews, the early reviews. Because we always bring this up, and we actually had a podcast focused on it when it comes to early reviews for games, and you have to be careful about them. Now, everything we're going to say about Assassin's Creed Shadow we're not saying the game's going to be bad because we haven't played it.
We're not.
We are going to play it Friday.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is kind of what we've had seen in the past and how we've been right 100% of the time so far on games we have called. You have to look at this stuff and you have to be wary of it. But anyway, so they're having this spin in the mainstream game journalism, game publication, whatever, and they're having this spin of it's a return to form.
Yeah.
It's a return to form. It's a return to form. Like this is how they're spitting this out. So, that is the thing that's cycling. It's like you're watching, mainstream media news. And then, they all talk about the same thing and the story's all the same. The wording's the same when they're trying to, spit out something. Then that story ends up being false. But they're trying to spin a cycle here.
Oh, boy, that's the gamers first.
That's what the game journalists are doing right now for this game.
So my question is what does return to form mean? You mean
I don't know.
It's like every other Assassin's Creed? Is that basically what they're saying? What is? I don't know. When was it never returned to form? Like when was it not? That's what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is you would have to have like some good games, then a run of shitty games, and then you're like, all right, we're going to return back to the good stuff. You see what I'm saying? It makes it sound like it's the same game, just in Japan. Like that's the way it's worded because Assassin's Creed as a whole are pretty solid games. They're pretty much the same game. Besides the story, the combat, the climbing, the eagle eye, all that stuff is the same. So what kind of form did it get away from that they're returning to, I guess is what I'm saying.
So is it a return to form for is it back to Odyssey? Are they referring to Valhalla?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they referring to the original ones, the ones before Black Flag? I played every single Assassin's Creed besides Mirage. Yeah, that's pretty much the only one I haven't played.
Yeah.
AC Origins, all the original Assassin's Creeds when they first released, Black Flag. I played them all. I played Valhalla. I put a lot of hours in Valhalla. So I don't know what this return to form is. from me seeing the gameplay, from what I've seen, it's very similar. Besides some of the different parkour you can do, jumping off a roof, I guess, but a lot of it is very similar to other Assassin's Creeds. Like, what is revolutionary or different? Completely different, something completely new that they're going to have in this game that's different than past Assassin's Creed to make it better.
Yeah.
Not make it like, something different, but it's actually better since they added these things into the game.
But also the way it's worded, it means like the other ones had this. You see what I'm saying? Like return to form. Or what it should have said is it offers something extraordinarily different. You know?
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this. All right. So right now,
it's the same. It's the same group. Same group.
But really what I want to get at is right now on a Metacritic. Let me share this real quick. On Metacritic,
also, never listen to Gaming Trend. They give everything a 10. They give everything a 10.
Yeah, they're really bad on that. All right, so Metacritic right now has Assassin's Creed at 82. Well, this is early reviews.
Mm-hmm.
For a game like Assassin's Creed, with the push of promoting and everything about it, all the YouTubers that got early access to the game, that got to play a lot of the gameplay, they were like, wow, this is fantastic. We got to see a guy riding on a horse and said, oh my God, this is insane. The standard shit you get with early reviews.
Yeah.
That, they get access to the game and then they kind of spit out all the stuff of how this game is fucking the next greatest thing ever. But the early reviews is kind of concerning.
It's like they're giving a script.
That got promoted.
It's like they're giving a script of keywords to say, key points to make in their reviews.
So what this tells me with this early reviews as an 82 with your the regulars that we see give these early reviews is that it's going to be a good Assassin's Creed game, but it's not going to be anything other than good.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Like, it's not going to be something that can save. To me, this is not a Ubisoft saver. Like, this is not saving Ubisoft. Now, we still got to wait for the sales when it releases and stuff like that to actually see the sales numbers, see the Steam numbers, and kind of have a better gauge when it releases. But this is not something. This is not what they want. This is not what Ubisoft wants as early review as an 82.
No
early reviews. This is actually a bad sign for them
because this is on par with Dragon Age as well.
Well, this is actually a worse score than Dragon Age at the beginning. But eventually, when you got more of the critic reviews in after the release date, and Dragon Age ended up dropping a little bit more.
Yeah.
But right now, they're doing worse than Dragon Age when it first released, or at least for the early reviews. And they're looking around the same as Avowed too. Right now, all right, Avowed. The same thing happened with Avowed. All the great, fantastic early reviews saying this is the next greatest thing. From the same culprits, and then
they gave them a 10 as well.
I ended up playing the game. And I played it all the way through, just about 90-something% completed, like out of achievements and everything. Avowed, if you guys want to know, go look at my fucking streams on YouTube. We played the game all the way at the end. We beat it. Showed the Steam trophies and everything like that. Avowed was just a okay, good FPS RPG,
nothing extraordinary.
FPS RPG or whatever, For a game that released in 2025, you have Skyrim that is still, you just got to look at it's 14 to 15 years later, and people are like, well, you can't compare Bethesda games with...
well, you can actually.
Yeah, you can, because this is who everyone is comparing it to. Everyone's comparing it to games like Skyrim and other games in that genre. It just was very underwhelming. And then, like I said before, Avowed 50% in, it just gets so repetitive.
Yeah.
After halfway through, it gets so repetitive. The exploration, everything gets so repetitive. But this is the same thing that's happening in Assassin's Creed Shadows right now. So many people hype this damn game up to be the next greatest thing. Saw it on YouTube. We saw it from the game journalists. We saw it from everyone. that it's starting to be just an average good addition to the Assassin's Creed saga. That's it.
And another good reason why you're going to play it and give it a fair score is because we already know this game is going to be heavily scrutinized politically on both sides.
It's very
so that's going to be
political.
that's going to be a very topic. So you have to quiet out the noise from both, and just as much as the quiet out the noise from the ones who are doing the early reviews, you got to quiet out the noise from the ones who say, "Oh, this is a 3, this is a 2." No, it's not that bad. I promise you that.
It's not going to be that bad.
It's not going to be that terrible.
But
it'll be better than a 6. It'll be.
But this is why I brought up what we have talked about this before in all the games we have reviewed. That it's just it's the fake hype and the fake reviews for games. And, when they're posting video and people are watching these fucking videos.
Yeah,
I can see with my eyes. I never saw something gameplay wise for Assassin's Creed Shadows that tells me this is fucking the next step.
Yeah.
In the Assassin's Creed,
it looks just like all the other ones.
Revolutionary,
and we're not just pinpointing this game because they do it. They've done it to the last 6 games that we've seen,
and that's the kind of what we're trying to, I guess, focus on here.
Because more than likely, here's the thing: is none of these people have beaten the game. They haven't. They have not beaten the game. They've played the game and they've given their review of what they've played. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like, and they're not going to say anything bad about it either. Why? Because they would lose their credentials to be able to review these games early. So they're not going to just. I mean, could you imagine if IG in Brazil gave it a 3? Well, then they're not getting any more reviews. That's it.
So Assassin's Creed. I mean, the games. This is what Assassin's Creed games are. You don't play the game just to play the story. Okay. The story in Assassin's Creed game is just one thing. Where you can tell Assassin's Creed game is good or not when it comes to all the side content, exploration, and all that stuff on how if it gets repetitive or whatever. But that has a lot to do with the Assassin's Creed games. It's not just the story. Like if you're just playing Assassin's Creed and you're just playing the story all the way through and that's all you're playing, you're not forking out at all, doing other things, then you're not playing an Assassin's Creed. So I could see these guys that review it play the story. Just straight through the story. But where these AC games shine, the good ones is all the side stuff. Like the exploration, the world, and everything like that. That's where you can get, if someone does that and then gives a review on that, which is going to be, 50 to 60 plus hours of 100%ing an Assassin's Creed game. Probably more than that, honestly. At least Valhalla was like that.
I feel like it's really. Oh, there's your Steam Boo again.
It's Steam Boo. What's up, Steam Boo?
I feel like the reviewers' credentials have gotten
blocked.
Has gotten so low, and what I mean by that is because they're not finishing the game. Like I feel like before you have to finish the game in any capacity, whether you're doing it story mode. Forking out, like you said, or whatever, but you have to complete the game before you could submit a review. I feel like you should have to. And I get it that you can't do that in 3 days. Like you should give them a week, a week in advance. You can knock it out in a week. You have. But Gaming Trend has given everything a 10. Like they're all like this game. A 10 is a masterpiece. Chrono Trigger is a 10. Final Fantasy 7 is a 10. Like these are games that'll go down in history. When you give something a 10, like you're just throwing out 10s like they're worthless. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I get you. All right. So let's look at this. What did they give it? An 8. Okay, that's from who's that? Console Creatures,
and it could be
Brazil, a 9.
It could be an 8. It very well could be.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to this. Let's talk about this next thing. But anyway, just to sum that up, is like you got to be careful with these early reviews, man.
Yeah.
Because like what this is telling me, I and I'm probably gonna be right, that this is just going to be a good Assassin's Creed.
This is going to be
it's not going to be great or anything.
Yeah. It's going to be the same
old. Way they hyped it up from the get go.
Yeah.
This
the
is
hype
all
behind it is this is the greatest Assassin's Creed. The hype behind it.
All right, this is funny.
casual gamers are playing, they may
You ever heard of
experience
this?
harassment. When that happens,
Bully hunters?
we'll be
It's
alerted.
pretty much what Ubisoft
Also
is doing
call on
now.
a bully hunter.
But let's go to what is it? The financial trouble of Ubisoft. Here we go. All right.
Lord, they're forming a
We
new
talked
entity.
about this last podcast, but what's happening with Ubisoft right now? You know, as everyone's heard, they're creating, they're ramping up like lawsuits, possible lawsuits for people that go after the game devs, which is kind of like, well, you know, in this country we have freedom of speech, Ubisoft. So if people want to make fun of your fucking game, they can.
Yeah.
And they can make fun of your company, they can. Now we can talk about, you know, when it comes to like saying thing that's not true or something like that, you know, defamation.
Also, if you come at them saying we're going to destroy your family because you made a shitty game, like those people are losers and they should be dealt with. You're right. You know, things like that. Anybody who gives death threats over a video game, you're a loser. I don't care what your political affiliation is. You're a fucking loser. It's plain and simple. Now, this is what I want to talk about on this. The bully, whatever they're called. For you to set this up means that you don't have any confidence that this is going to do well, because you know what's going to happen. Like, you know that there's going to be a wave of negative press coming your way. Like, you just like, there's no, that's what that means to me. Like, there should be no reason for this. Because for one, I've never in my life seen, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen, I just haven't seen it. People actually like, first of all, you'd have to really find out who the devs are. Like, you know how much research you have to do to find out who made this game? So you have to like find out who made the game and then go look them up on LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever they're, and then send death threats to them. Like, that's loser shit. But the odds of that really happening, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. Not saying that, because there's some stupid people in this world.
I can see,
but for them to do this, have this set up, just means that they know something is going to happen. Like, because here's the thing: is if you were very comfortable with like, my game's a masterpiece, I have nothing to worry about. There's no need for this. But if you know that your game's kind of like, you know what I mean? I'm not really sure. So I'm going to set up a thing. I'm setting up a roadblock to protect my people beforehand. Then I have no. What kind of precedence are you setting here? There's no confidence in that.
The legal, it's held up by a straw, dude. Like, when it comes to harassment, all right, well, what are you talking about? Like, are you talking about some troll on Twitter making fun of your game or targeting? I mean, even a game dev on Twitter, and someone comes up and replies to them, "Oh, your game sucks."
Yeah.
That's not going to be covered. I'm sorry, you're not going to win that.
Now, if they say we know where your kid goes to school and we're going to kidnap them, then okay.
Now, if you're in England where they have like strict, like ridiculous social media laws, dude, like they might be able to win a case in England, but in America, that's not holding up.
No, not at all.
Now, it's different if this person's like death threats,
it's different.
Harassment,
and nobody deserves that, regardless of how shitty the game is.
Threats of inflicting harm in any way.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not covered.
That's loser shit.
That's loser shit, and they probably can.
And they should. And they should.
And they should.
Yeah.
But when someone is very critical of your game, making fun of your game, or just your company in particular, no.
Yeah, you don't get sued for you don't get sued for hurt feelings. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then everybody.
I don't know how they're covering this harassment. Like, what are they talking about here?
I'll go ahead and tell you, if you got sued for hurt feelings, I'd be chapped. I'd be bankrupt as fuck.
Yeah.
I'd be sued into oblivion.
But anyway, so, I mean, we'll kind of get this to an ending here. But let's talk about when it comes to, depending on the success of this game, depending on the sales and everything like that, what comes next for Ubisoft, or is this the last time we're going to see Ubisoft as it is right now, how the company is currently stands? Are they going to be bought out? Are they going to be absolved? I don't know.
I'm going to say this. I honestly think so. I think so. I'm about 80% confident in saying that this is going to be the last game that they make as they are right now. Miracles do happen. Miracles happen, which could happen as well. But I think this is the last time that Ubisoft, this is their last game that they make, because they're in so much, and it's less about this game than they are as a company. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much more. There's a big snowball effect. Let's just say this game wasn't even coming out. Let's just take that out of the equation. Like, their stock is in the toilet compared to what it was 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they're doing bad as a company already. The CEO, the problem is when you're the CEO and majority owner stock wise, that's terrible, because you can't be removed from making terrible decisions. And that's all they've made for the last 5 or 6 years was bad decisions, bad financial decisions, bad gaming decisions. So, and it's only snowballed from there into this game.
Yeah.
And that's going to bring us into this. Let's go.
They're just not. I mean, they starting at a Metacritic score for your early reviews, when your select reviewers, really, if you think about it, and starting as 82 is not a good sign. It's not a good sign to me. Again, Assassin's Creed is a popular franchise. They're going to have your core fans and everything like that are going to play this game.
Correct.
But you got to reach more than that for this game to me to be truly successful.
And throw out all the stuff about Yasuke being a black samurai. Nobody cares. And I'm sure that people are. I'm sure there's people out there who care. Oh, you can't have that. Who cares? We're talking about the game as a whole. Let's talk about the game. That's what people are not focusing on. So, the game. Is the game different? No, I don't think it is.
The reason I had this caption on our thumbnail, he's not fun to play, because I saw a review. And one of the main gripes about the game is that the female protagonist is actually really fun to play, but Yasuke is not. Like, they didn't focus on him as a, for when it came to the game. What they said was the female protagonist, the ninja, like the assassin, feels like Ubisoft put a lot of effort into that character, vice your second protagonist, which is again Yasuke.
Yeah.
So,
which kind of feels like a pivot, because they kind of feel like they started getting heat, and if the heat got too hot, they can pivot to, what's her name, Noe or whatever, pivot to her and then make him just a secondary meh character, and that's basically what they've done.
Yeah,
because they started out, because if you remember, they started out
was front and center.
He was front and center. He was like the main protagonist. She was. I didn't even know that they had a second character until later on, And now it's like they don't even show his gameplay much anymore.
Yeah, so I'm curious, but I'll find out Friday.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's like I said, I think this is their last game. I don't think it's going to meet the sales. It'll get normal Assassin's Creed, but they don't need normal Assassin's Creed numbers. They need extraordinary numbers, because Outlaws fucking failed. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Your snowball effect from games prior to this game. They're trying to play catch up.
If this has a Valhalla feel to it, like being just a good Assassin's Creed, not great, nothing like Odyssey was or anything like that, or Black Flag or the others. If this is just an average good Assassin's Creed, it's not going to be favorable to them. And when it comes to Ubisoft, I don't think this is going to be the final game, but it's going to be their last game, as how they are currently structured.
Correct. They'll be
how they currently look.
And what I'm saying is, I'm going to say this is my prediction. A month after this game is released, so a month from Friday? A month from Friday, you'll be talking about Ubisoft being bought out. That's going to be the news, because they didn't meet their numbers. You'll see the true numbers. They'll either break even, they'll get their normal numbers, but like I said, they don't need normal numbers. They need extraordinary numbers, because Outlaws failed, because they haven't been doing good prior to. This is just the shit icing on top of the shit cake.
Yep.